Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Patrick Von Holt, Head of Business Development here at Shero Commerce, and this is our eComm Experts video series where we interview industry leaders to offer actionable advice and practical solutions for e-commerce growth. Today we have with us Farrah Boehm. Farrah is the Partner Marketing Manager at Rewind, and Rewind is a platform that enables companies to back up, restore, and copy all of the critical data that drives their business. More than 80,000 businesses have trusted Rewind to protect their online stores, including some of the biggest e-commerce brands like Endy, Movement Watches, Fashion Nova, Nix, and Gymshark. Farrah is here today to share 7 reasons why you need to back up your e-commerce store today and how to do just that. So Farrah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Rewind?
Sure, thanks so much. Well, I live in the Vancouver area in British Columbia, Canada, and I've been working in marketing for 11 years now. 7 years of that has actually been within cybersecurity. And while SaaS has always been the major focus of my marketing career, my background also includes experience in fashion and the furniture industries. I have experience building Shopify stores, and prior to joining Rewind, I was actually a Rewind Backups customer. My background in cybersecurity is what drew me to research Shopify backups and discover Rewind on the App Store.
Thanks again for being here, and let's dive in. To start, we've noticed that many merchants are turning to software as a service or SaaS platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce. Why do you think it's extra important for these types of stores and merchants to have a backup in place?
This is true. We've definitely seen this growth in SaaS as well. There's a common misconception about what SaaS platforms in general provide when it comes to backups. Taking Shopify and BigCommerce as examples, they perform platform level backups to protect themselves against natural disasters, data breaches, and other threats. In the very unlikely event that something extreme occurred and their whole system failed, for example, if a meteorite struck their data center or there was a mass data breach, Shopify or BigCommerce would be able to restore the data of everyone on their platform. However, if something happens to your store in particular, that backup is not useful to you. You do not have access to it. So if a third-party app causes a problem, or a CSV import goes wrong, or if someone accidentally or maliciously deletes products from your store, you cannot call Shopify or BigCommerce and have them recover your lost data, even for a fee. This comes as a surprise to most people, not just for e-commerce merchants, but really across SaaS in general. That's why Shopify makes it clear in their terms of service that merchants are responsible for protecting their own store data. So from product images to descriptions to customer information and order history, merchants create a lot of valuable data at the individual store level. And they rely on that data to populate their store, display their products, and generally provide an excellent customer experience. This data is their responsibility to back up and protect. And so platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce don't come with an undo button. And that's where backups as a service comes in to fill that gap. An app like Rewind sort of becomes that undo button.
Gotcha, makes sense. And I guess with the ease of use that Shopify and BigCommerce both promote for their merchants, I guess it would be easy for merchants to assume that backup is just right at their fingertips should they ever need it. But it's interesting to know that it's not something that's natively offered by them. But glad that Rewind's there to kind of be that magic undo button. So, I mean, I've personally heard horror stories, and I'm sure everyone in the industry has in some way heard of a horror story involving data loss. So can you tell us or kind of give us an example of a client whose hard work that you saved because they had a backup in place?
Yeah, absolutely. The horror stories are awful, and we certainly hear a lot of them. Many of the merchants that work with us install Rewind only after having lost products, orders, collections, themes, or other kinds of store information. And they install Rewind to prevent that from happening again. Fortunately, we do get to hear positive stories from Rewind clients as well. Those clients who are able to breathe a sigh of relief after being able to rapidly restore their lost data in just a few clicks. When the worst happens, the person who thought ahead and installed Rewind suddenly becomes like the office hero. Um, so as an example, one of our customers lost over 3,000 products and over a year's worth of work after a developer that he was working with maliciously deleted the data. And the only thing that saved him was his backups.
Yeah, wow, close call. That's certainly an unexpected reason, and probably a good segue to jump into this top 7 list that you prepared for us. So, what are some of the most urgent reasons to back up your online store's data?
So reason number 1, you're human. Human error is the single biggest cause for data loss. No matter how much training we do or how many times we've done the same thing, mistakes happen. You might be trying to delete a blog category and end up accidentally deleting all of the blog posts in that category. As long as you have a backup, you can continue building your online store fearlessly, knowing that you can recover any deleted item or undo a mistake. Reason number 2 is you import CSV files. CSV imports can be helpful when making bulk edits to a store, but they can actually do more harm than good if even one column isn't accurate. When you have a backup in place, you can feel confident importing CSV files because if there's a mistake, you can go back in time before the import and just try again. Reason number 3, you edit or modify your theme code. And I think anyone who's working on a Shopify store experiences this. But actually, the easiest way to break a website is by making a small mistake in its code. If you're making any customizations or edits to your theme code, you need to have an easy way to reverse changes. Reason number 4 is you install third-party apps. The average Shopify merchant has about 6 Shopify apps installed. When the apps work, they're wonderful, but when they don't, they can cause serious problems. If you look closely, the majority of third-party integrations require read and write permissions, meaning that they can also change, manipulate, and delete your data if they're connected improperly.
You mentioned, not all apps are created equal. So there's definitely some really high quality developers out there that are using best practices and likely won't pose a threat. But there's also other third-party apps out there that may not be as reputable. So you got to pay attention to that stuff for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like some of the apps are like backed by like large companies like Rewind, but there's other ones where it's really just like, one guy in a basement who made this app and you don't really know exactly how much you can trust it. So yeah, we encourage you to like go through, check out see if they have a website, check them out on LinkedIn, just get a sense of like how reputable is this app before installing it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll move on to the next reason, which reason number 5. You may have a disgruntled employee. This is something that no entrepreneur wants to think about, this possibility that one of their own employees could do something intentionally to hurt their business. But like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, it does happen sometimes. Reason number 6 is you hire freelancers to work on your store. Similarly to employees, when you hire a freelancer or a contractor to work on your store, you're giving them permission to edit. It's not always easy to vet freelancers and find someone you can trust, especially when you're using websites like Fiverr. And then finally, reason number 7, you're worried about hackers. Historically, cyber criminals target large organizations, but that has changed. A 2020 Verizon study found that a third of cybercrime victims were SMBs. And while Shopify takes extensive precautions to protect their servers against any malicious attacks, hackers also target individual accounts, and they get increasingly creative with their methods. So having a backup is recommended to protect your store from the damage that hackers can cause.
So given how important it is, what do you think are the best ways to ensure that your e-commerce store is properly backed up?
I'm just going to bring up a few slides that just kind of take you through some of the details and overview of Rewind. So what is Rewind? Since 2015, Rewind has been on a mission to help businesses protect their cloud data. Today, over 80,000 customers in more than 100 countries use Rewind's top reviewed apps and support to ensure that their SaaS applications run uninterrupted. Rewind makes it easy to back up, restore, and copy the critical information stored in a growing list of SaaS applications, including Shopify, BigCommerce, QuickBooks Online, GitHub, and Trello. We are the only Shopify Plus certified backup app and the BigCommerce 2020 Merchant's Choice Award winner. The value of Rewind is not just that we back everything up. The value is the speed in which we're able to help you recover. Rewind allows you to minimize or completely avoid the costs associated with store downtime. So Rewind puts you in control of your data, allowing you to restore anything from a single image to your entire store. I'm going to go into a couple case studies from our customers and what they've experienced that before they became Rewind customers. So Whisker Seeker, the largest manufacturer of cat fishing equipment in the USA, added a bulk import of changes through a CSV that resulted in accidentally wiping their entire product catalog, which contained over 300 SKUs. Every product, every SKU, and every photo was permanently deleted. The worst part was this happened just 3 days before Black Friday. They faced over 120,000 US in potential losses if their site was not restored. The founder, Matt Davis, told us that he felt like he was literally going to have a heart attack. This is a common experience if you've ever experienced this kind of data disaster. So I'll share another case study as well from another one of our clients, which is Crossrope. So this is a fitness brand. And before that they became a Rewind customer, they made an update to their theme code that broke the ability for customers to add products to their cart, which essentially halted all sales. They had to turn to their latest manual theme backup, which was a month old. Restoring this backup caused its own set of problems, as any theme updates made over the last month were lost. The entire process of restoring the site back to normal took 24 hours of work and resulted in lost sales opportunities, of course.
Nice. And another one of those stories where they're installing Rewind after having a bad event like that happen. But again, it sounds like they're set up to deal with any of those types of issues in the future.
Absolutely. And I mean, just because it happens to you once, it doesn't mean it won't happen again, right?
True. Yeah.
It kind of is that wake up call that, this can happen and how easily it can happen.
Better late than never.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm now just going to take you through how our pricing works for our app. So we like to say that no store is too big or too small for Rewind. Our pricing plans are based on the order volume of the store being backed up. And all of our plans start with a 7-day free trial to allow you to get comfortable with the product.
Awesome. And have to say, I love the transparency in pricing. It's not the most common practice to have it be, that straightforward. And so if someone wanted to find out a little bit more about Rewind or speak with someone directly, what's the best place for them to go to get in touch?
So a great place to start is rewind.com. You can also learn more by checking out Rewind's listings on the Shopify or BigCommerce App Store, and that's where you can read our reviews as well.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining us, Farrah. If you want to learn more about building, migrating, or growing e-commerce stores, reach out to sherocommerce.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more eComm expert videos and more content to come.